Hello student, welcome back. I am Arunava, your mentor, psychologist and your friends. So today we start another very important chapter of class 12. In the class 12 section we start from this today. So this is our day 1. These preparations will ultimately help the student to crack the NEET exam. So we are emphasized the every chapter and every topic in our NCERT book. So our first chapter in the class 12 section is the reproduction in organism. This chapter is very important, but in your chapters generally 2 questions are coming from this chapter in your NET. So this chapter is very important. So how we study this thing? Always you talk that first thing I just emphasize every topic in every angle, right? From every angle we try to give a very easy statement about that. Another one, you just learn about the NCERT books. Third step, that means you write down the notes from the NCERT books. And fourth step, you doing the MCQs on that chapter. But in this chapter we discussed that it is the 2 parts there. That 2 part, number 1, it is the reproduction, that means the continuation of life, that every living organism have the abilities to reproduce. Some exception also be there, but it is the most common features. But in the NCERT books, it is the 2 parts there. One is the asexual reproduction, asexual reproductions and the sexual reproduction. And very small topic is there in the starting point in the NCERT books, that is the lifespan. So we discuss also it, that is the lifespan. We discuss this is in the 3 part. But in our NET syllabus it is the 2 topic, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. But at first, as the introductions, we discuss the lifespan. What is the mean by lifespan? That means it is ultimately lifespan is happening in every organism, every living organism, including the human beings. You know, the human beings are born and die, and total a time period is there. This time frame is called the lifespan. So how you define this thing? What is the lifespan? Lifespan mainly ultimately keep natural time, natural death to natural born. That means it is a period from birth to natural death. This is called the lifespan. Natural death. It is important. So lifespan is different in different organisms. That is the important questions in our NCERT book, also for the NET. What is these questions? Like in the NCERT books, different pictures there, and also their lifespan is there. Like the mayfly, their lifespan only 1 day. Another one, that is the butterfly, their lifespan 1 to 2 weeks. You just remember this point from your NCERT book. Fruit fly, their lifespan 1 month. It is the mayfly, it is a fruit fly. Their difference, you understand? It is the 1 day, and in here it is the 1 month. Another one, rice plant, it is the 4 month their lifespan. So they are called the annual plants. On the other hand, the wheat, they have the lifespan the 5 months, 1 month more from the rice. Rose, their lifespan is the 10 years. And crow, their lifespan 15 years. Banana tree, their lifespan is 25 years normally. Crow, so now crow is complete, that is in 15 years, but now in cow it is 25 years. Dog, their lifespan also be approx 25 years, that is varying different species. Crocodile, their lifespan 60 years. Next to a horse, their lifespan 50 years plus. Generally they live in 50 years. Elephant, their lifespan is 60 to 75 years. And a parrot, they live in 140 years, right? Their lifespan is so much high. On the other hand, the tortoise, their lifespan 100 to 150 years. And banana tree, that is most important. It is a very important part in our botanical garden in Sitpur in West Bengal. Their lifespan 200 to 300 years. And a very interesting plant is there, that is the sequoia plants. Their lifespan is 3000 to 4000 years. So that is the most important, that lifespan is not the same in every organism. That is differ and also differ in their different species. But it is a common chart for your NEET exam. You just remember these things, what is their lifespan and also their different years. So you understand that lifespan is a time frame between birth to natural death, and different organisms have the different lifespan. Very good. Now we go to our next topic. But one important question is there in our MCQs. Most important question it is, which of the lifespan is the largest or longest lifespan? That is the one option, banana tree or parrot. If you give the three options, which one is the right, which one is the longest lifespan? This type of question is more common in your NEET part, right? So you remember all of these here very carefully. You will know if this answer is the banana tree, because you understand that their lifespan 200 to 300 years. Now we go to our next topic. But previous that, one important thing is there, the amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular organism, that means single cell organism, but they are called the immortal. Why they are called the immortal? Because they divide and continue to life as their daughter cells. These same statements ultimately come in your NEET syllabus, in NEET exam paper. So very important question, amoeba are immortal because one cell is there. They divide by the binary fission and produce the two daughter cells, but the component or material of the mother cells are go to the daughter cells, right? So they are immortal, unicellular organism which divide by the binary fission are immortal. But it is a one example, amoeba. Another one example also be there, that is a bacteria. Bacteria also be immortal because they also follow the binary fission. It is very important question. Now we are going to our very interesting topic, and the first topic of the NCERT books in that particular chapter, it is the asexual reproduction. You know, in the asexual reproduction, a single parent is there. That means one single parent reproduce and can produce the offspring. That means in here, father or mother, one is there, and from that one parent, the offspring are produced. Single parent. But in that particular process, there are most important characteristic features, that is without involving the gamete formation. In that process, gametes are not produced. That means the male gamete and female gamete are not produced. So fertilization also not involved in the asexual reproduction process. But in that process, the variation is not happening. So the clone are formed. But what is the clone? Clone is the morphologically and genetically similar organism. That is called the clone. That is the important terms. Another one important questions that come from that point. The what is clone? This statement is very important. Morphologically and genetically similar individuals. Right? So this is the clone, that is the product of the asexual reproductions. You know, the different organisms are reproduced by the asexual reproduction, but common example, that is like Hydra. Hydra reproduce asexual reproduction, that is a very common example of the asexual reproduction. Next one, we discuss the every modes of asexual reproduction. First of all, in the binary fission. In the binary fission, parent organism divide and it is involved in the mitosis process, not the meiosis process, and offspring are cloned. Bi means the two. In here, the fission or division are happening. So our mother cells are divided into the two cells. Right? Very important question. What type of division are involved? it is mitosis, also you got this is the amitosis process, right? So both two options may be right in the case of binary fission. But offspring are clone, so they are the genetically and morphologically are similar to their parents. Because in here the single parent is there. But most important questions, in which organism are exhibit the binary fission? Like you know, the bacteria. Bacteria, their nucleus at first enlarge, right? Enlarge and divide and produce, then the cytoplasm are divided and produce the two cells. So this is the binary fission. Another one process is there, it is called the multiple fission. Multiple means the many, right? So the many cells are produced from that particular process. Very important. That means one organism from one organism produce the many organism or many cells. More to example, common example is there, amoeba and plasmodium. But in NEET syllabus, the plasmodium is the most common, right? Plasmodium doing reproduction by multiple fission, because amoeba is different conditions is most important, favorable or unfavorable, depending on the amoeba are exhibit both binary fission and multiple fission. But plasmodium always doing the multiple fission. So it is very important question also. Next one, multiple fission. So that means the many cells are produced from that one organism. One cells also be there. So next process of asexual reproduction is the budding. But what is the mean by budding? Budding is the external outgrowth from in one organism. Like it is the example of yeast. In here, small outgrowth are happening in here, but still now they are attached. After their maturation, they are detached from the parent bodies and produce new offspring. So this process are called the budding. But budding is a very interesting and important process, and it is ultimately a small outgrowth, very small outgrowth from the parent body. Also it is called the projection from the parent body. But in here, different organisms are exhibit this type of budding. Most some example like sponge, some coelenterata like hydra are exhibit this type of reproduction, the budding process. Yeast also be reproduced by the binary fissions, right? This is a different example. Now we give another important information about another process, that is a stabilization. What is the mean by stabilization? It is ultimately series of changes, series of ring-like transverse constriction point are developed in the organism, but not all the organism. One particular organism is the Arunava. They are exhibit this type of series of ring-like transverse constriction are developed. By this transverse constriction, they are detached and develop every organism. This is called stabilization. Very important, transverse constriction. This is the important also in our NEET part. Another very important part, that is a fragmentation. Fragmentation, this is divided. Fragmentation is a very important process. In here, parent body are divided. Parent bodies are divided or break into the two or many parts or more fragments. More common some example is there, but when we discuss about the fragmentation, we give some example like sponge, like the sea anemones, that is are dividing by the fragmentation process. Also if Spirogyra is there in that fragmentation process. Another this type of process is called the regeneration. But this regeneration process is one type of fragmentation where the whole body of the organism are formed from the small fragment. This is called the true or whole regeneration process, and there also it is a one type. But another one, some small part are detached from the parent bodies, and replacement of the lost part also be produced in the organism. You know, in your house lizard, it is exhibit this type of regeneration. On the other hand, starfish or the planaria exhibit this type of morphosis or morphalepsis process. This is a very important term, where the whole body are produced from the segmented part. They are called morphalepsis. When some parts are detached and this lost part are replaced by the regeneration process, that is called the epimorphosis. Two examples I also given. One is the planaria, that is belongs to morphalepsis, right? On the other hand, lizard, they are exhibit the second process. Next most important process of asexual reproduction, it is of spore formation. You know the spore is a different type. It is maybe asexual or sexual. But now it is discuss the asexual process. So the asexual spore is a different type. Their name is very important. Like zoospore, sporangiospore, it is conidia. But what is the difference in that particular spore? It is very important in our class 12 NEET syllabus. What is it? So spore are the different types. Asexual spore, at first they are remember their mind, remember their name. Like zoospore, you know, like zoo is coming from like the animals. Animals are motile, so zoospore also being motile in nature, also asexual spore. Have the flagellum, so they can move from one part to another. On the other hand, the sporangiospore. Sporangiospore is the most primitive fungispore. That means in some ascomycetes type of group of fungi, this type of spore are produced, but that is not so developed, right? So this is the primitive types of spore. So zoospore, sporangiospore. Number 3, that is the chlamydiospore. Chlamydiospore, their interesting facts is that thick wall, big, relatively sized spore. And this type of spore also produce some kinds of fungi. And oidia, also it is very important. It is one of the spore that is already born like in chains, So it is the oidia. And conidia is a very interesting and very important type of spore, that is the asexual but non-motile spore. Also it is produce some fungi. So this two types of spore is very important. One is the zoospore, another is the conidia. Zoospore are motile, asexual spore. On the other hand, the conidia are asexual but non-motile spore. That is very important. You remember in mind, this spore is the most important. Now we get the different topic, that is the vegetative propagules or vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation, it is the process of plants mainly, because you know in the plants the two type of parts is there. One is the reproductive part, another is the vegetative part. But what is meant by the vegetative part? Vegetative parts means they have the vegetative structure. That means it is the root, it is the stem, right? It is ultimately the different parts, but reproductive parts are the flower. When the reproductions are happening by the reproductive part, they are called the sexual type of reproduction. But on the other hand, when the ultimately reproductions are happening in the parts of vegetative, they are called the vegetative propagation. So forming of a new plants from the vegetative parts, it is called the vegetative propagation. Like you know, we are deciding that it is from the vegetative parts, but it is the different types according to their structure. Like some parts, tubers, like rhizomes, that is most important. So vegetative reproductions occur naturally and artificially. That means in our nature it is happening naturally. It is common to the plants to reproduce by the asexual process by vegetative propagation. But human beings are induced or artificially the vegetative propagation. For why? For some horticulture purposes, and produce the plants clone to their parents. Like you know, some plants is very good products, they have the very good qualities of food. That time horticulturists embark in a nursery, That time a plants are produced that is similar to their parents, that time we doing the vegetative propagation. You know, the vegetative propagation is a asexual process. That means here the clone are produced, not the different or variation are happening. So different types, like you know, the underground root, underground stems, leaf, that is a different parts. So one by one we discuss about that. At first we discuss the natural vegetative propagation. Naturally it is happening. Like bulb, it is present in the onion. Bear in mind, in onion the bulb. Also some leafy family or tulip also be reproduced by this bulb. Another one, it is like the clove. You bear in mind the example. Like garlic, they exhibit natural vegetative propagation by the clove. The corm are most important in here. That is the most important gladulus that is reproduced by this type of corm. It is a different type of natural vegetative propagation. Also one is very important, that is the rhizome. Rhizome are reproduced in India by ginger, lily and begonia. That is the most common example. By the rhizome they ultimately reproduce. Another one is runner like the link part, or this is happening the strawberry, most common example. Example is very important in our NEET part. They are connected to each other, right? This is called the runner. Another one, that is the sucker. They like suck like the structure, and that is most common is the pineapple. Most common, and it is important for you NEET. Pineapple, the sucker is present, right? So this is a different type of natural vegetative propagation. Another here, the stolon. Stolon, like a bulb-like part is there. The mint is common example is a stolon. Tuber, and this is very important and very famous question. This is present in the potato. It is also called the eyes of the plants. Also some leaves that exhibit the reproductions, vegetative propagation. Very important word example is there. That is the bryophyllum. It is very important. Bryophyllum are reproduced by the leaves merging. In the leaves merging, new plantlets are produced. After detaching from the leaf, they are produce the new plants. So bryophyllum is the most important. Another one, another process of vegetative propagation, that is the artificial vegetative propagation. Artificial means that it is with the help of human beings for human benefits. Number one, it is the cutting. For some parts, you know, that is the most common in the China rose. If you cut down their stem and put it into the soil, after that 1 month you observe that a new plants arise. Also it is a living state. It is the cutting process. But in all the plants do not follow this type of process. Some example is there, like mango, guava, lychee and lemon and rose. They follow this type of cutting process. Another one, that is the layering process. It is also the artificial vegetative propagation. In the artificial propagation process, layering mainly two types: air layering or aerial layering and mount layering. Suppose if short-sized plants, their stem may be bent. That time we bent their stem into the soils, right? And just remove some outer bark region and just go in that part into the straw and something bind it. After 5 or 10 days, we observe that some roots are generated in that particular parts. After that we cut it, right? And we get the new plants. It is called the mount layering. But a mango, long sized tree or mango plants, it is an example. In there, the stem is not bended. So, what type process are follow? That type process follow the aerial layering or air layering. Another one process is called the grafting. Grafting is most common in our India, because in that particular part, one stem part is there. It is called stalk. Another part of the stem, it is called the scion. these two parts are joined together and bind it. After 15 days, you observe that they are ultimately joined together very interestingly. So new characters, right? New characters are come by the process of grafting. So this is all the artificial process. Now we discuss the natural process and artificial process. And another type of process we discussed, that is the tissue culture process. You know that when some cells are doing the particular functions, they are called the tissue. In here, one important tissue culture process, we take a leaf, right? But why are we doing the tissue culture process? This is the one type of vegetative propagation, artificial vegetative propagation. Why vegetative? Because we take the leaf, it is a part of the vegetative parts. And why is called artificial? Because human beings are doing this process. But what is the difference between normal artificial vegetative propagation and tissue culture? Because in this tissue culture is processed in doing the laboratory, right? In the scientific expertise is required for that particular process. That is not required in grafting or cutting or layering process. Normal farmer doing it. But tissue culture are doing the biotechnologist or microbiologist or zoologist or botanist. They are doing it, right? Botanist and biotechnologist are most common. And at first you take the leaf. But this plant is very good quality, some product. Someone is they have the good fruits. Their quality is very good. That time we take or identify this type of plants. Next, we wash this leaf part. We just section, or first we wash with the water and next sterilize by HgCl2 or alcohol. Why? Because in the upper surface of the leaf, lots of unwanted bacteria is present, right? At first step, we remove it by HgCl2. Next, we prepare a medium. Medium means the food. This is a very commercially available. This food is there. We prepare this food and put this sterilized plant part with in sterilization condition into this medium, and we incubate in the BOD. BOD chambers mean where the temperatures is optimum for the growth. Next, after you 10 to 15 days or depending on plants, depending on medium also, a mass of structure develop. Mass of structure, that is called the callus. And the first the callus are formed. After that you wait, and after 1 month you observe that roots and shoots are developed. That time you transfer it into the another pot. So it is called the tissue culture, because we take the small parts of leaves, that is the tissue, and here we culture it to produce the new plants. Advantage of this process is that it is very important process for cloning the plants, because some desirable qualities are same in the offspring, right? And in very comparatively in very short time, they produce large number of plantlets. It is the most important in the tissue culture. So today we discuss about the first chapter, that is the reproduction in organism, and our first topic in the NCERT books, that is the asexual reproduction. We discuss the asexual reproduction. At first we discuss the lifespan, next we discuss the asexual reproduction and the different means of asexual reproduction, like budding, like fragmentation, like regenerations, right? All these different processes. Now, next we discuss about that vegetative propagation, like the natural, like the artificial process, and finally we discuss about the tissue culture process. That is, it is our 2-day class. This is discusses about this topic. So now your time is start. From this point you understand clearly this topic, right? And now you read the NCERT books, and then you write the note, very short note about this topic, and doing some MCQs, because at the 7 August in our mock test is there in that particular chapter. So before the 6th August you complete this chapter. I also loaded this my classes in my YouTube channel in the Arunava sir. We're doing it. and you study it before the 6th August, right? So you are confident about that. In that particular chapter, you are doing all the MCQs, and 7 August is your test date. That means your results are coming in that day. So you prepare, it is the first day, so best of luck and study more and study in very hard work, also in the smart work, and achieve your goal. Okay, thank you very much. And if you understand clearly and it is help to you, so that time you share it, it is another your friend to help them, because my aim to help the student to achieve their goal, and I want to create the good doctors, God doctors, because they're the God doctor and the God. So you also be the God, so you are help the others to achieve their goals. It is also be part of your life, also our part of life. So you share it if you genuinely clear or observe that it is helpful to you, so you share. Otherwise you do not share, do not like. Okay, right? So today class is now end. We are again see you in the next topic, that is the sexual reproductions in the class 12 part. Okay, thank you very much.